people of the World Wide Web. So it is Cypher Sigma here, and we are in Wednesday as usual. So it's always let's do the other hand. So it's a look what I've been watching. So yes, if anybody new, I do this every week, but yeah, it's just a recap of essentially what physical media I've watched in the past week, and we go in reverse order. So the first one that I watched last night is Mulan, a Legendary Warrior. So this is from the Sin Asia company. This is a martial art retelling, I think, of the original story. I only know it from the martial arts side of it, or the Disney side of things, and obviously the Disney live action one. This is a little bit more grittier, doesn't kind of have the happy ending, but it is essentially the same thing. It starts off with that the nation that Mulan lives under is at war. Every man is required to line up to the army, but Mulan's daddy unfortunately is ill, so she takes on the role. But in this one, she is found out quite early, very early on, that one of the boys from her village is also signed up and with her. And obviously understands then kind of the general who fancies her, or he's not a general at the time. He discovers she is a woman as well, but they both keep a secret, and it is Mulan and this kind of higher up guy who she falls in love with or cares about. They progress the ranks as generals, leading their army, and it's all about their nation fighting the evil nation, which is, you have the dad who he's just kind of fighting a war because obviously he wants more. The son is just power hungry, and the daughter is actually rather caring. The son ends up killing the dad and taking over, and then there's a lot of blood, there's a lot of death. A lot of the troops that you meet and characters all get killed through most of the story, which is more a realistic interpretation of war. I feel a great movie. I say it's a very more realistic version of the story, Mulan. I'm not going to say how it ends, but obviously it's not all happy. It's kind of happy, but it's not. It's kind of what I would expect if it happened in modern day. Great acting and great martial arts from it. As I say, there are some very good martial arts scenes, very good battle scenes, but obviously there is more of a realism that it's not like one person is impervious and does everything, which I thought, as again, adds a little bit of realism to the whole film. So the next one, this is a steelbook that I picked up in Bournemouth, and I wasn't sure what it was, and this is, I believe, We Are X. So as I say, I didn't know what it was. I thought it was a nice picture. I thought it was anime, but it isn't, unfortunately. This is a documentary of a rock band from Japan in the 1980s called Japan X Japan, I think they're called. So you see a lot of people doing that, not X Factor, not the wrestling. So essentially this is Toshiro. He is kind of the founder of it. He is the drummer and plays keyboards and not else. And then you have four or five other members of the band, and it is basically their story through everything. It is quite dark in places. Obviously the lead singer leaves the band and joins a cult. Two of the members unfortunately killed himself by suicide, and Toshiro unfortunately was born and he's a very unwell child. He's even unwell in his older life, and I never knew about them, but it shows how much of an influence they are. You get to see people like Gene Simmons, and obviously a member of Limp Bizkit, Wes Borland. He performs with them near the very end, and it's kind of like they got together in, I think, 86, 87, they there to 97, they disbanded. And then in the early, I think, 2010s, they get together to form this. It's like 91 minutes. It's actually a great realistic story of what life is like for this influential rock band. Music's quite nice. If you don't know, obviously in their heavy metal and how they've changed as people, but just a lot. It does seem that music has been their life, and they've devoted them to be this band and kind of this persona, but so much of their lives have taken back to it, and obviously it's affected them health wise and everything that's evolved into it. But it was very, very interesting. I say, not really nice steelbook to have as well. So because it's getting up, or when this goes out it'll be gone Halloween, but obviously this has been what, so me and my wife watch this. We have watched a Heffalump movie. We're big fans of Winnie the Pooh, so it was obviously the Halloween movie this time, which is essentially Lumpy, who is the Heffalump here, and Roo, kind of all about them friendship and obviously Lumpy learning about Halloween and stuff like this. It's all right, to be honest. I like the animation, some songs are good and characters. To be honest, it's the voice and of Lumpy comes off a little bit annoying. If we're gonna say it's all right, it's poo. It will stick in. Obviously, it will stay in the collection. But yeah, I found. I think my wife did find a little bit. It can be a little bit annoying. Next up, we have another steelbook, and it is the Bourne Legacy. So this is the Jeremy Renner one. Obviously Rachel Weisz and Ed Norton star in it. Obviously crosses over, I think, from the end of the third movie, has the kind of train station scene which Jason Bourne in it, but it's more about one of their rogue agents in a division. Doesn't feature solely on Jeremy Renner's character. It's obviously Rachel Weisz is included in, and there's a lot of stuff in it. It just seems a very kind of weak-ish story, and there are some good action scenes, and Jeremy Renner does a good job. I'm not quite sure, obviously, if this was written or designed for Matt Damon's character, and then they've had to change it drastically, and that's why there's a lot. Obviously, you didn't remember Oscar Isaac is in, but obviously he gets killed off quite easy or blown up. And yeah, it's kind of just, you have the elements of the government and then this kind of new Bourne character. But they never kind of directly come into it. They bring like this assassin near the ends. Which is, he's all right, but again, they're on the run for the police and everything else. And I say it just seems, I don't know, it just seems like they quite didn't get the formula right for this one. But it's a steelbook. I think it was about a £5, so don't mind having it in the collection. I say it was an all right, enjoyable watch. Then we have What the Misunderstanding Is, Sherlock Season 4, which I had seen. Which it was on TV, so my wife and me had watched 1, 2 and 3, the special 3 that I all had, and then we watched 4 on TV. And because we watched it on TV, I forgot that and didn't pick it up, so that's why we watched it. Had some good episodes. It was really good to bring the kind of where Moriarty kind of came from, or how he returned, and links and stuff like this. Again, I really wish, I didn't mind this. I kind of feel that part of this could have been a special or been done earlier, and that the fact the whole Dr. Watson getting married and stuff would have been really nice to do the ending as it kind of ended the show. I mean, there is talks obviously them bringing them back, and I hope they do, because it has been they are a great series and they do play quite well. And then the final one, which was a surprise, which is Rush. So I've had this on the list. I think this was an update from AJ, so thank you very much, AJ, for this. And yeah, obviously this is the story of James Hunt and Nikki Lauer and driving. And funny enough, James Hunt, where my mother-in-law lives, is on the road that was named after him. Random useless fact for you there. So yep, so this is like two up-and-coming race car Formula 1 drivers. Nicky Lowry, who's kind of the bona fide genius who's born of it, and then James Hunt, kind of the playboy, thinks he's all it. And it's how kind of they come in to the same league and they're rivals and stuff that happens. Obviously, Nicky unfortunately gets involved in a fire and injured, but manages to come back. And unfortunately, James Hunt, spoiler alert, dies in his, I think, mid-40s. But it's very interesting to see the story. It's done very, very well and very entertaining across the board. And it just kind of takes you in and shows you the life of a Formula 1 race car driver from, I think, the late 80s odd. And obviously directed by Ron Howard, so you can't really go wrong there. So yeah, that has been Look What I've Been Watching for this week. So a very mixed bag as normal. Is there anything you agree, disagree? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below. I've been Cypher Signal Screen Time. Like, comment, subscribe, do all those things you want to do, and I shall see you in the next one.